Hey, boys and girls. So, now that we have had our draft, you can see the homepage here for Fantasy Football. A couple things to share with you to make understanding a little bit easier. You can see each week who you are matched up against, and these numbers right here are the projections for that week based on how your players are projected to do in their respective games. So you can kind of get an idea of who's looking like they might win. So it might make you want to adjust your team. A big part of fantasy football is the waiver wire and picking up players. And so, how you do that is from this homepage, you go click on players. Now, what the waiver wire is basically just all of the players that were not drafted. And so, this means that they are available to be picked up and added to your team. Now, they are on waivers, which means it basically gives everyone the opportunity to have the chance to take a player. So take Shane Vereen, for example. Say two people in the league both want Shane Vereen for their team. Well, what you do is you click this little plus sign here, the add player sign, and do that. It shouldn't see that screen when you're doing it. So you see here it says claim player from waivers. Now, if your team is already full, what you'll have to do is select a player that you want to drop in order to make room for them. So whatever player you decide you want to drop, you just click the little minus sign next to them. And so I'll just do this for example. So it doesn't matter. Just click whoever you want to drop. So then you kind of get a summary here of you're adding Shane Vereen, dropping Charles Johnson. So then you would just simply click Create Claim to add Shane Vereen and drop Charles Johnson. And you can see there it says you've successfully created a waiver claim for Shane Vereen. Now, one other thing, if you want to see here, if you change your mind, maybe you don't want to drop that player, you can go and click on View Details. And you can hit Cancel Waiver. Simple as that, really. So that's pretty much how you add and drop players. You can also trade with other players pretty easily. You would just want to go back here, click on League. And any team that you're considering trading with, click on that team. And let's say you wanted to trade for Drew Brees. Well, all you have to do is click these little arrows pointing opposite directions, propose trade, and it works kind of the same way as making a waiver claim does. You basically just choose the player you want to do. You can offer to trade multiple players at once. So say you want to trade Drew Brees, you want Drew Brees and Julian Edelman. Then you just select who you are going to give up from your team. So select whatever players. It doesn't have to be equal. If you're giving up a really good player, sometimes you can ask for two of their players in exchange for your one really good player. Now, if you're not sure if you're making a trade or if someone offers a trade to you and you're not sure if it's a good deal or not, this really nice feature, you can click on Evaluate Trade. And what it will do is it will just break down week by week these players' projected points, basically how they think they're going to do. And you can see here go week by week, and then at the very end it'll give you a grand total. So in this case, if this trade were to go through, I would be over the course of the season, I would be getting plus 9 points. And Robert would be losing about 5 points over the course of the season. So it's a little bit of a better deal for me than it is for him. Sometimes if you think that it's still something you want to do, you can still go through with it, but it helps you to decide if somebody's trying to rip you off or not. So then if you decide I don't want to do that, you can just hit cancel. Or if they made the trade offer to you, there'll be a thing on the bottom that says accept trade, decline trade, or propose counter offer. Now, one other thing I want to show you guys, when it comes from week to week, you want to you would definitely want to adjust your team from week to week. Sometimes, some weeks you won't have to make hardly any adjustments, and then some weeks you'll have to make a lot of adjustments based on, like bye weeks and stuff like that. And I'm sure you all know, but in case you don't, a bye week is just each NFL team gets 1 week out of the year where they don't play. They get a break. So you don't want any of the players from that team on your active roster. So you can see right here, you clicked on my team and it brings you to your roster. So all these ones here, these are your starters. You have your quarterback, your 3 wide receivers, your 2 running backs, your 1 tight end, and then at the bottom you'll have your kicker and your defense. I just haven't picked one up yet, but that'll be done here. Now BN right here, that stands for bench. These are players. You're basically your reserve players. Now they will not get points for you if they're on your bench. So it's kind of one of the tricks of fantasy football is deciding who to start and who to sit. What you can do if you're not really quite sure, you can click on this up here on projected stats, and basically it will tell you what they're projected to do for that first week. And the real column that you want to look at right here is this one that says fan points. This is how many points they're projected to earn for your team. And so if you're not quite sure of who to start, who to sit, go to those projected points, because sometimes depending on what team they're playing against, one player could have a really high projection 1 week, and then the very next week they could be projected to score very few points because they're going up against a really good defense or something like that. So if you decide that, hey, I want to swap out one of my players, so let's say, for example, you wanted to swap out one of your bench players and make him your starter. Well, you just click on that little bench, and then automatically it will highlight the players you have the option to switch them out for. So if you wanted to switch out Jonathan Stewart, who was on your bench, and make him one of your starters, then you would just click bench and then click running back, and then that would swap them. So then Jonathan Stewart would then be moved to your starting running back, and Frank Gore would be moved to your bench. So it's pretty easy, and it is far and away, I think, the most crucial part of having success in fantasy football. And let me tell you that nothing will annoy and upset your fellow league members more than somebody who doesn't set their lineup every week. So, just take a few minutes. Usually I like to do it around Thursday of every week, because then, Wednesday every week, because there's usually a game on Thursday night. It's also important to remember that once your player's game starts, you cannot adjust it at all. So, so that is the basics of Yahoo Fantasy Football. Hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully you guys feel good about it. And I'll see you guys out on the field.